So real quick, before you're watching them, they're all new. Now they had one more training session than you did, so. What were your impressions? You feel like you could do what they were doing, or that you will be able to do?
Like the chip things for like the already know that, but we have to go over that one.
That you're gonna flip the coin?
Yes.
Yeah, when you get there, you'll tell the coaches that we're just gonna put the coin in singular. Because what happens is the basis like 18 classes. Okay, double forfeited 75 pounds, forfeited 80 for them, forfeited 90 for them. Okay, we finally have a match, first round pin at 96 pounds. Like, by the time we finally are gonna get to the second round, we don't even remember are we on that 5, 6, 7, what is it? We lost pounds. Might have a middle school score. That's why we just show them. Hey, we're just gonna put the point. That way nobody has to track it. Yeah, they're good with it. They're great. They're not. That's fine. At the beginning of the meet, they bring the captains out. They can you know, as if it makes a difference. But if they want to do that, then we'll do it. And then it'll be like I said, it'll be hard to keep track of when it's like first round pin, forfeit, double forfeit, first round pin, forfeit. Finally, we get to the second round. We're going to the same match. Well, I
know odd matches have choice. That's the very first match. It's an odd match. Let's say they're red. Right? Slipper goes to my rear pocket red side. So when I know it's red, that's the first round. It's red choice. What do you want? And I leave it in the red side to the match is over. As soon as they shake hands, I say, that's how I do it. And then every 5th or 6th match, I'm like, whoa. And I'll look at the table and I'll hold the color up like green choice. And they're like, green, or they'll go, oh, red choice. And I put it back in the red pot. I don't know how to use it.
I use
So,
however, some people have a thing in their wristband.
If they have like advantage, we can get you. I am the other one. I have table many times. The table tells me, I want this one to be green, and I'm like, not cold. That is way red to me. I'm like, that is red to me. That is red. And then I make that choice because I'm the one that's gonna make more mistakes if I'm out just going, oh, that's red. Oh no, it's not. So yeah, it's me.
Alright, so let's cover some of the things with you that they got covered previously. But before we do that, Chase, Pierce, what do you guys think? You watch them, officiate, you feel like, I think I can do that, just need a little bit more instruction. But okay. Both address it at the time. How long have both of you wrestled? Yeah. So the longer you wrestle, the more comfortable you are with the sport. Like, I call it wrestling IQ. The higher wrestling IQ you have, the more you'll step into this role, the more comfortable it's easy to kind of know the sport already. There's two aspects of being an official in any sport, really. And they're knowledge of the sport and knowledge of the role of being an official. Those are the two components. Yes. Yes. Okay, now that's fine.
And just, if you realize you made a mistake, don't, if they're actively wrestling, don't stop that. But when they go out of bounds, or it's hitting the ground, or they are just kind of stalemated, stop at that point and then go, whatever the issue, they get it clarified. And let the coaches know. I told coaches, if I'm not sure the score, I'm like, coach, table, I pulled a little bit. And if one coach is like, hey, the score is, I'm like, I pulled the other coach in. Just so it's like, hey, we're all going to agree on whatever we come up with right now, and everybody agrees, but try not to
here's the thing. If you wrestle, you know the sport because you've wrestled a long time or coached it and competed in it, you probably know 80% of what you need to know to do wrestling. It's one, that other 20% is stuff you might not know because you don't study rules or you haven't. So as a competitor, there's things you're not required to know. So if you're not, as a competitor, you don't know what to do when weigh-in time has arrived and the other team's not here yet because their bus broke down. Or somebody's in the middle of a takedown and the lights went off. That, as a competitor, you don't need to know that stuff. But as a wrestler, as an official, you do. You have to make the rule. So if you know the 80%, which is you know what a takedown looks like, you know what a pin looks like, etc., right? Those are sort of the bread and butter of the sport. So that 20% that you don't know, like that closes as you learn the rules better and you get more experience officiating, right? So you get a guy like me, I've been officiating for 34 years, then I get that down to 0. Newer officials, you know, more like 15%, so 12%, 10%, right? So
Bob will tell you the page, section, and number, and letter of the rule, and I'm like, what's up with the stalling section? So that's turning to stalling.
So that's the two parts of it. That's why I always ask people, have you officiated? So like that young guy, Sean, he's the only one in the group that had officiated something before he officiated rugby. But when he showed me the first session, he showed me again, like he knows certain things. Like, you know, he's comfortable in the role of being an official. Even though he really doesn't have that much wrestling experience, he actually lacks more wrestling experience. So those are the two aspects of the rule. There's a few principles I'll give you that you can apply at this level. So number one is I'm not training you up to be expert. I'm training you up to be sufficient. You're going to officiate middle school kids. They're going to be various levels of skill. Some will be very, very inexperienced. Some will be experienced. And you're going to have to handle both ends of the spectrum. You're going to have more of the inexperienced, probably, but you'll have some experienced ones or some run-of-the-mill ones. So, but you don't need to be an expert. I'm not training you up to be a math class official. I'm training you up to be able to handle the middle school and be able to do it and protect their safety and to make sure that there's some like real justice. The good news for you is that at this level, there's not a lot that's like at the high school varsity level, right? You were striving to be a state champion, right? You got pretty high. You got another year left. There's a lot on the line for him. If I'm officiating one of his matches at regionals or state, like there's a lot at stake for him, right?
We gotta get it right.
Yeah, if I screw him over, like a whole year could be flushed away because of my bad call or my incompetence. If you screw up something with these middle school kids, they're not going to state, they're not, you know, some of them don't even know you made a mistake, right? Like, so, not that I'm saying you should take it lightly, I'm just saying the stakes aren't high. So, your coaches aren't going to be like all over you and stuff. So, just relax a little bit in that knowledge, okay? At this level, you can coach them a little bit. At the higher levels, we don't coach. We don't say, hey, come on, get busy, don't. Open up down there, I'm going to call you for stalling. We just call you for stalling. You understand now you're stalling? Yeah, maybe you're stalling. Get busy. Like, so at this level, we can talk to them. Like, I don't talk to kids that go, you know, move your hand to his belly, but the other one is like that. At dice below, I just go, are you set? Yeah, caution. Get your hand on the belly and find that. Right? But at this level, just talk. So you're going to coach them a little bit, help them out. We want them to have a good experience. We want them to be protected, and we want them to come back. So that's part of them having a good experience being protected. So they'll come back next week. They'll come back next season. They'll turn out nicely. So also at this level, I want you to have a bias to not really be calling violations very quickly or easily. So, like I said out here, instead of calling cautions on these people, because you can call them all the time, just correct them. Help them to learn the right starting position. So just make them get in the right starting position. You don't need to caution them. Unless, again, like I said, you have a knucklehead who, for the fourth time in a row, you're telling the exact same correction. Like, you know what? Start cautioning again, because they aren't going to learn otherwise. But beyond that, instead of cautioning them, we'll just help them learn the right position so that they can do it successfully. Same thing with like stalling. Like, we're not going to be quick to be stalling kids. We're just going to talk. Come on, man, you got to start working. Come on, top guy, you got to do something other than lay on. Like, you just talk to them, help them out a little bit. Don't tell them, now throw the hat. Like that's a little too far. You know, grab his wrist. You know, sit. So we're not going to coach them that way, but we are going to prompt them along, and instead of penalizing, we're just helping them, right? And then at this level, basically, I don't want you to call stalling, like I told all of you earlier. Call it if that kid's mom's. Stalling is a very controversial call in all of this. Gary and I call stalling a match. Somebody's unhappy. Challenge is unhappy, whatever. Like, and that's okay when you know what stalling is and you can make that call. But at your level and at their level, like, it's not so clear cut. So I just want you to stay away from it. Unless you have 100% unanimity, the whole gym. So that kid's stalling. Like, okay, finally, like, I'm gonna call him for stalling if the kid's running it backwards 100 miles an hour off the mat all the time. Like, and everybody will agree with it. But I'm not gonna get sophisticated with like stall calls on middle school kids, because now that's gonna be controversy. And one of the things that I've learned in my career is that the stalling call not made is forgotten. The stalling call you do make is never forgotten. You call the second match, you call a kid for stalling the second match, you're going to hear that kid's coach for the next 60 minutes. You hit my guy for stalling, what about him? What about her? Like, you're just going to hear it the rest of the dual meeting. I guarantee it. So, if you don't make that call, nobody will remember the third match or the fourth or the fifth. Like, they'll forget it. Like, okay? So, we're just going to stay away from it unless everybody in the gym agrees with you. So by all means, like, you can't turn the sport into traps. That's part of the deal. When it comes to working with the coaches tend to be in a partnership with us. They know they're not supposed to like jump on your back and start grinding you down and making you want to quit. It's counterproductive. If we don't have you officiating, I don't have enough adults that can get off their job between 3 and 4 o'clock against three days a week. That's not going to happen. So they're not going to have referees, they're not going to have competitions. So they get you, which is why they have to be okay with the fact that they don't have some experienced expert ref. They have somebody who's sufficient and adequate. Okay? So they're in a partnership, so they'll give you feedback and listen to their feedback. After a meet's over, if they say, hey, can I talk to you? You gotta watch out when the kids start running that bar arm, like somebody's gonna lose their shoulder, like just listen to them. And take the feedback and just say, okay, thanks. Don't get defensive. If they just want to yell at you, then by all means just say, I have to go see the orthodontist. Or I have a piano lesson or whatever. Just like leave and just say goodbye. But generally the coaches are in a partnership, so they'll want to help you. And so listen to their feedback. But during the match, what we want to avoid is needless delays in the match. So we don't want coaches questioning every call and having a discussion about every call. The meet would never end if we let that happen. But what I want you to do is, in your engagement with coaches, you're wrestling and it's like, okay, out of bounds, and this coach is asking, hey, was there near ball or whatever? Don't look them in the eye when you answer, like, out of bounds, we're going back to the middle. You're just going to go, no near ball, wasn't in criteria. See how I just answered his question? But I didn't look him in the eye, because what happens if we go out of bounds, and he says, what about near ball? And I look him in the eye and go, no near ball. What did I just do to you now? I just turned my back on you. I was looking you in the eye and I said, no, your fault, and I did that. And now that's like, oh, you're disrespecting me. But if I never look you in the eye, out of bounds, no, he wasn't in criteria. Like, there is no, hey, hold on a second, like, you know. So, if a coach is insistent that they want to talk, and they're over there at the table or whatever, then fine. At your level, go ahead and say, okay, wrestlers stay in the middle.
Make them stay.
And then just go over there, and if the coach has something, they're so animated, like just listen to what they're saying, and try to keep it as brief as you can. If it becomes something that they're just doing all the time, like at that point, you're just going to tell them, Coach, yeah, we have to wrestle. Like, we'll talk about it after the meet's over, you know, whatever. Like, so unless it's because some kid just, you know, got, you know, his arm amputated or something. We don't need to be stopping all the time to talk about, well, yeah, your kid wasn't in the proper starting team. That's why I told him, you know, yeah. We don't need to have discussions about stuff like that. Or, okay, it was a takedown, coach. He got around behind and hooked his leg. Like we're not gonna, you know, baseball. Any of you ever played baseball or softball? Are coaches allowed to argue balls and strikes? Hell no. Imagine if they could, the game would never end. Strike! What do you mean? we would never end a contest because every at-bat would stretch on for 10 minutes because they would argue every single ball and strike. Instead, it's like they get kicked out if they argue balls and strikes, right? So, because the principle is we're not supposed to disrupt the competition by having rules clinics over here or disagreements about judgment of, you think I should hit that hit for stalling, I didn't. Like, we don't have time for that when these two people are supposed to be wrestling. So if you have a coach that's sort of not abusing it, fine. Go ahead and entertain. Like, what is it, coach? Well, you know, you gotta watch out for this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm watching that, coach. You know, like, you know, give them a little satisfaction as long as they're not doing that every match or every other match. Okay?
There's two key words Bob used in the last video. One was your fault. They weren't in criteria. You don't have to say it wasn't 45 because we're going to argue all day over is this 45, is this, or is this? Your judgment, they weren't in your fault criteria. Walk away. It's the judgment. It's the first thing I started doing with coaches. It's just, in my judgment, they were out of bounds. They can't question our judgment. So just have that just my judgment, they were not in criteria, coach.
You preface everything with my judgment. You're not allowed to question your judgment. You can disagree with it all
They're
they
going to
want.
argue with you too more than they will you too. Tell you that right now. They do. They tend to jaw a little more at the younger ones and the girls. And I've only done this for 5 years, but when I watched, we had a young lady at state for the first time ever this year.
Your coach.
Your coach. And Gina gets parked on by coaches that say nothing to me under the same circumstances. And it's like, that coach always is on my ass. My coach is never even question any of my calls. And Gina's good rep, so it's not she's making bad choices. It's just that particular coach thinks he can probably bully a woman more than he can a guy. And I just use that judgment thing. And it's right off the bat, there's the line. My judgment there out of bounds, coach. Back to the center. And they're like, hey, I'll keep an eye on that, thank you. And it goes a long ways. It really does. She's like going, I will keep an eye. You just walk in hands. I will keep an eye on that, coach, thank you. Back to the center.
That's
Don't argue.
one last principle I'll share with you again is that at this level, your bias is to be patient, to make sure that the kid really has something. So, like I said, if you think they have control, if they've earned a takedown, or they've got the reversal, or they've gotten away in escape, like if they've earned it, they'll have it a second later. So instead of like going, oh, there's two takedown, oh, and now it's a reversal, it's like just go. In your mind, you're going, oh, I think he's got two. He still does. Because if I do that, and then suddenly it's like, no, he doesn't anymore, right? Actually, like, so you just have a bias being patient when you're judging control. If you think they have control right now, they'll have it a second later, so wait a second. And at this level, you'll avoid a lot of sort of needless points awarded in situations where it's like, yeah, didn't really have it, or it appeared like he should have had it, but he didn't because he's kind of inexperienced and he doesn't know any better. So those are your principles. So let's go through what we're going to go through real quick with you guys, because you saw what they did. Like, we're going to first go through some signals, do some little training on signals. Going to show you the procedure that they went through, that you witnessed them use to start a match. Okay? And then we're going to talk about some map mechanics in terms of the positioning stuff, okay? And then other than that, you saw a bunch of the other stuff already. So on your feet, let's practice some signals here. So one of the things you have to get used to, you have to officiate in that green is on the right, red is on the left. So when you're signaling and you go, to green, and you realize, oh, yeah, it might take you a few times officiating before you sort of start to get that by nature. So,
But you will make mistakes when I do it, and I'll be like, that's 2, 3. And I keep the kids there, and I look at the table like, no, this.
so first signal, let's do basic signals you're going to use all the time. We're going to start with what is called the start signal. Okay? So the start signal, whenever you start action, there's an audio, which is the whistle, and a visual. So when you blow the whistle, you're going to move your arm up. That's all. Like a knife. Reverse karate chop, right? Instead of downward, up. Okay? So it's just going to go like that. So whichever arm you prefer, your left arm, your right, it doesn't matter which you use. I always use my right arm, just like that, like that. Okay? So whistle them out. You don't have a whistle, but you'll go tweet. All right, every time you want to whistle, but you're just gonna say tweet, okay? All right. So show me the start signal. All of you.
You should have your feet a little bit apart and just be ready to move, because if they start going fast, you can get out of the way.
All right. There you go. Yeah.
That's what's this.
It's a simple signal.
Here we go.
Because in a situation where they might not hear the whistle, they can see the arm. Okay, so again, start. Yeah. And you want to make sure they're synchronized, so it's not like we had a kid that stayed about like 8 years ago. He was hard of hearing. He was in state finals, and so this was a lesson in using proper mechanic. The official didn't use this signal, which is the standard signal. You watch people officiate, you'll see all sorts of people. They do that, they do a bunch of stuff to start. They don't do this. This is the signal, the official signal. So in the state finals, this guy who doesn't use the official signal has a kid who's hard of hearing from Juanita High School. He sets him in the bottom position, start the second period. He tells the top guy to get on. Top guy gets on. His start signal goes like this. He puts his hand up like this, and he goes. So when he did this, that kid from York saw that arm move and he started. And he, caution. And the kid's like confused, like. So set him again, put him in position. He's getting ready to start him, put his hand up, and the kid moved again. He saw that arm go up. He started taking off. Caution again. Now they're animating because we're in the state finals. Next caution is on points.
As a coach, I'd be.
Coach was living. Like, what the heck? And then the coach is pointing out, like, you're doing that to him because you're moving your arm. Like, he can't hear. He's watching your arm. So that's among many reasons why we use the official signal. Signals are important because we're trying to communicate primarily with the table because they're keeping score, but with everybody else too. So, all right, that's the start signal. Stop signal, stop action is like a halt. So you blow a whistle and you put the palm up like that. So let's practice that.
Say you're on all of
Yeah.
Literally, like stop.
I just
Do it again. Okay. Now there's a shortcut. By rule, actually, it's surprised it's buried in a weird place to roll.
If you want, I don't know that. So I have a picture, listen to it.
It's a buried in a weird place in the rule book, but actually their rule tells us we're supposed to make a stop signal before we go to signals like, oh, and out of bounds. So, but we take shortcuts. It's kind of a common shortcut. Out of bounds. So let's do that signal. Just when they go out of bounds, just blow the whistle and sweep the arm, okay? So let's do that. Out of bounds. Yep. Again. Yep.
Your hands up, too. And almost all your calls should be.
You want them visible, your hands to be visible so people see the signal. So when we're going to now do the signals for points because those are important. You want your hand above your head. So the signals again are standardized so everybody knows what's going on. Okay? So first signal is for a takedown. Takedown, the signal is simply to put the 2 fingers up. So we will say 2 green takedown. And we'll raise the green band. Now, the way I teach people to do it, get it over your head, and I teach, put it up there, hold it in one direction for like 2 seconds, turn it exactly 90 degrees one way, hold it another 2 seconds, and then I take it around the world and drop it. You don't need to do that. But the thing is, what you're trying to do is, how many fingers do I have up right now?
I'm just missing, so to give you one, you have one finger.
Yeah.
Right, from your perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So when I do this, like you see I have 3, right? She thinks I have 1 up, and then I turn it 90 degrees. Now guess what? Now you see, oh, that's 3. That's why we do that. And that's I prefer just that static sort of 2 seconds here, then 2 seconds there, over this. You see how many fingers I have? It can be hard sometimes. It's a little light. Like guys are doing this, and they're like, is that 2? Is that 3? Is it an optical illusion? So instead, we just go 3 here, 3. I go 3 here, ball 3. Boom. That gives everybody the chance to see it from every angle. Okay, so that's the deal. We put it up there. You, like I said, being loud with your call, being sharp with your signal. These are all signs to people like, oh, I can trust you. You know what you're doing.
Sell the call.
This does not bring confidence. You're going to start people going, are you asking me or are you telling me? This does not, you do this, you've got a coach yelling, that's not 2. Like, you just go 2. Like, even if you're wrong, be boldly wrong. Boom. So, let's start with the takedown. So, when we say takedown, we'll say 2, whichever color, and takedown as we're raising our hand. Okay? Now, one of the things technique-wise, let me get my whistle real quick so I can demonstrate this.
And that will buy you respect. All 4 of you actually, just, I don't hear that problem. Just hold it. Just be like, that's 2. Hold it. Let everybody know, that's 2. You're confident in it. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
We need to be ready to blow a whistle immediately when something's happening at all levels. We're trying to protect wrestlers, or we're trying to make sure, oh, they're out. Okay, like stop wrestling. And no, you're not going to get the score out here. Like, just forget it. So we want to be sharp on the whistle, and we want to be able to do it immediately. Now, the thing is, you need to also communicate with your voice. I've trained myself. If I can talk with the whistle in my mouth without blowing the whistle, I learned to keep my tongue in that hole. I can go, 2 green takedown. But if I have to really yell, I'll take it out and I'll hold it this far away. 2 green takedown! Like if it's really loud and I'm not sure that green can hear me, and then back in. Like, oh. So that's the thing. We gotta be ready to blow it all the time. So if you can't talk within your mouth, you can't go, 2 green takedown. We're gonna create a lot of problems for that. If that's what we're doing. So if that's what we're doing, then we gotta go 2 green takedown. We just take it out with the other hand and
hold it close. So we 2, green, take off, now around. You know, so figure out what's best for you, but you have to take it out again. Take it out with the other hand and hold it close after you've done talking with the right hand. And when you're just walking around, you saw your colleagues, they were kind of slow on the whistle, or missing the whistle with some frequency, right? So when you're just walking around watching the action, you've got the whistle around. So that you don't forget where that whistle is. You go, oh, they're out of bounds. Stop. Oh. So a number of times we're going, you gotta remember to whistle. Oh, part of the problem they were having, they didn't have whistle in their mouth. Walk around with it. Okay. All right. So practice takedown first. 2 red takedown.
Oh, red takedown. Red takedown.
Your wrist, please. Told you, see, it's going
Straight up.
straight up, yeah. Straight up. Just hold it up there above your head. Get the hand above your head. That's it. Fine. Yeah, just like that. Okay. 2 green takedown.
2 green takedown. 2 green takedown.
I'm hearing. What they are go.
Green, take down.
Perfect. That was the best one of the group right there.
Say it.
2 green, take down.
There you go.
Your hand just speak up.
That's the takedown. The scoring decisions are the most important decisions you make besides safety decisions in wrestling when you officiate. So those are the ones that matter most. Like if you blow scoring goals, that's what gets people angry. they don't really care so much about stuff that doesn't result in points. So doing these signals sharply will help make sure everybody got your confidence. Okay. So takedown is one signal. Reversal. So when we do a reversal signal, I like to do the signal for R, reversal, first, and then put the fingers up because I can leave these up for quite a while. Usually about 5 or 6 seconds before I drop it. So instead of putting them up like that first, holding them up 5 or 6 seconds before I finally get around to this. Like when if they're writing on a scoreboard, they'll write R too. So if I do 2 red reversal. So that's the reversal signal. It's just to roll your hands in front of you like twice. Okay. So 2 green reversal.
2
green reversal.
Keep that whistle near your mouth now. So in case so your signal will be green. So keep it close with your red hand. Just like 2 green reversal. Right. Put that in. Okay. All right. Escape. The escape call. It's just signals, just like a takedown. It's just like hand over head, 1 point. Okay, and the legal signal. Now, I do this different than most officials. I signal neutral first, and then I signal the escape point, because by rule, the rule requires that the defensive wrestler gets into a position beyond reaction time. So, when I have enough time to do this, that means that person has been neutral beyond reaction time. If I'm able to make that signal, they've been beyond reaction time. There is no definition of reaction time in the sport of wrestling's rulebook. Reaction time is measured in tenths of a second, not measured in seconds. It doesn't take 2 to 5 seconds to react. It takes this long to react, right? That's things like about half a second, maybe, not 2 seconds. So, reaction time to me, if I go, neutral, 1 escape red. If I was able to make that signal and it's still neutral, that was beyond reaction time. Now, I had one situation this season where I literally went like this. No! That person was getting neutral, and like they were neutral and not beyond reaction time. I didn't have time to finish saying that. And then the other person covered up again. So that's why I don't do this first. You go, wait a second. No, not neutral. Still ready to control. Go.
And that, see what you just did there? It's like, go, and then you point. Red has control. And you need to be dialed up, they can hear. Same with the takedown. It's like sometimes you're scrambling like that, and it's like, okay, that's a takedown. But your opponent doesn't think it is, and they're still fighting back enough. you gotta be clear that red, you have control. Red, you have control. So that all of a sudden we're like, oh,
Go to something
okay.
else
And
now.
then green will be like, well, I'm not staying right here. I'm going to my
My
stomach.
base.
I'm gonna start building up. If you don't let them know that point occurred, sometimes they'll put themselves in a position that they wouldn't if they knew that was a takedown. So you gotta be loud enough that they know you're saying, that's a takedown, you have control.
So let's do the neutral, one escape green.
Neutral, one escape green.
This time we'll give each other a chance with red. Neutral, one escape red.
Neutral, one escape red.
Neutral signal over head too. Not to here.
All the way up. You gotta sell the call.
Boom.
Yeah, there it is. It's all the way
Nice
up.
sharp movements,
Then the force.
just read confidence. Alright, that's escape, and then there's near fall. So with near fall, again, I signal the end part first, and then the points up. Boom. Around the world and down. Okay, so with the near fall, they can earn either 2 or 3 near fall, or if they earn 3 and their opponent is bleeding or injured or does something illegal during the near fall, they will be awarded 4 points. So they can do anywhere from 2 to 4 points near fall. Okay? So let's go with 2 green near fall. Well, I'm not hearing you. You gotta verbalize. Say it again. Do it again. There you go. All right. How about 4 red near fall?
Four red near fall.
There you go. Yeah. So it could be 2, 3, or 4 points if they get awarded with that. So that's the near fall call. Okay.
If you're counting near fall, you should be at least.
We'll go over that in the math mechanics part. So, and then the other signals you're going to use with some regularity, the illegal hold. Okay. Illegal hold is both hands. Okay, we'll build some. The potentially dangerous is one hand. So you're not penalizing, but you're stopping action because of a safety concern. Somebody might be getting hurt, so we're just gonna, go, watch that E and don't bend it that way.
And that is a good out. When they're out there and you see the arms getting twisted and the legs, and you're like, ooh, you can just, I usually say, watch that shoulder, watch the shoulder. If they keep going in, it's like, fancy dangerous, green, you're still down.
This is your out. Anytime you don't feel good about something, and you want to stop, just stop and issue potentially dangerous. Nobody will argue with you if it's pursuit. Okay, but you just don't. Technical violation is this signal, 1 point. Okay, and then usually it's locking hands. That's what you're going to see, right? So technical violation on 1 point on green or on red, 1 point green, locking hands. Okay. And then the injury timeout signal is just circle your finger, whichever color is on the injury clock. Injury time green, injury time red. Okay. All right. So those are basic signals. So let's talk about starting match. You saw what they did. So we're gonna walk through, and then all of you will rehearse at the same time this thing. So when we start a match, we're gonna stand right in the very center of the 2 starting lines here. And the reason is because nobody's going to be confused. We are not wrestling as long as I'm standing here, right? You can't get to your opponent. So we're going to stand right here. Now, they haven't checked in yet necessarily. So the first thing we're doing when we're getting ready for a match to start is we're going to look at the scoreboard wherever it is. If they have one on the table or we got it up at the gym wall, or we're going to look. Does it say 0-0, period 1, minute 30? If it does, that's kind of your cue that everything's ready to roll. But if it still says 5-1, period 3, then you just tell, hey, scorekeeper, can you, go ahead and clear that out, right? So that's what you're looking for. Now, when they check in, the wrestlers are required to check in with the scorekeeper. The scorekeeper is supposed to keep it straight for you. It's like, okay, Jones 160 and Emerson 170. Hold on a second. You got the wrong opponent here.
Like, they shouldn't let that happen. Scorekeeper should catch it. So they check into the table for that reason. As they come from the table now, you just give them a sort of head to toe with your eyes to make sure they're not wearing a wristwatch or something stupid, okay? So if you catch them with something like that, make them correct. Again, we don't need to necessarily call the violation. The coach insists that you penalize the girl because she had the wristband on or the hair tied, on the wrist. Like, fine, give them the point. But the thing is, otherwise you say, hey, no, take that off. Get rid of that. Okay, so you're just giving them head to toe. So that was ready up there. You took a look at them as they came here. We're going to now look at the timekeeper and go, timer ready. We want them to confirm that they're ready to go. Nod the head, thumbs up to us, or whatever. They're ready, great. At that point, now we're standing in the middle. There's a little dance step. Step one, I take a step back and I tell them, foot on the line. At this level, tell them foot on the line. At the high school level, I like to say starting positions. But we can coach them all. Foot on the line, okay? They put their foot on the line. Next, we're going to take another step back now with this foot. Shake hands. So we're going to bring my hands together as I tell them shake hands. This is my barrier now. This is to prevent them from trying to jump start and hurt their opponent.
I'm the horse in the race,
Yeah.
and my gate's still
This
closed.
is a toll game. So shake hands, and then as they shake hands, then my last step is going to take this, and so as I do the start signal. See how I remove the toll gate? Well, listen, I'm stepping up. I'm out of the 10-foot circle by the time I'm done blowing whistle. So I'm not in their way. What we don't want to do is, hey, on the starting line, there you go. And I'm blocking this kid.
There are, you've seen it, at high school level, there are kids that are shooting
Right off the bat.
before the echo of the whistle ends. And if you're here,
Yeah.
and you're like, Brett,
Get in
you
their
can
way.
be caught. And there are several times, I'm like, guys, my hand has to come between your head. Because both guys are leaning forward and their heads are that far apart. It's like, no, my hand has to come between you. They back up a little, and I'm like,
This is the barrier. And we lift the barrier. That's why we use a good start here. And then we just back out of their way. Okay? So the dance step goes like this. So first, we're here. Check the clock, scoreboard. If it's not right, tell the timekeeper, hey, can you, first period, 0-0. All right, working on it. Next, we're watching the wrestlers as they come out. Okay, no problems, okay. Now that they're out here, timer ready? Good. Now, starts the dance step, right? Step one, put it on the line. And I do this little thing here. And then shake hands. So you see how I'm leaning forward and I got this barrier in their way? They're shaking hands. And then step back with this, and as I whistle. Out of the 10-foot circle, they're wrestling. Okay? That's the dance step. So let's practice that. So, sequence. If you teach yourself this little sequence, it becomes habit and it avoids a lot of problems. Okay? What we don't want to do, especially with high-level wrestling, is ever put people in starting position when we're not ready to get them going. What's terrible in a high-stakes match, they're both spring-loaded, they want to go, and you're like, okay, on the line, starting position, okay, hey, timer, are you ready yet? No, ready? Like, when you're, in a high-stakes match, you're ready to go, and then some of this guy's just parking around, like, what the hell? Instead, it's like, all that's taken care of, great. Starting positions, shake hands, boom. It all takes like a second. Guys that want to wrestle, they're going to wrestle. Okay? So, first thing we do, what do we look at? At the clock, the scoreboard, whatever. Okay? It's all set, great. Wrestlers are checking in, they're coming out. What are you doing? Little head to toe on the wrestlers, just make sure they're properly uniform and everything. Okay? Alright, they're out there with you now. You're still standing in between them. What's the next thing you're gonna do? Who are you checking with? Okay. Timer ready. Say timer ready. And just hold your thumb out there and wait for them to go thumbs up back to you or to nod their head. Make sure they acknowledge, because sometimes you're gonna have a timekeeper who's laughing
laughing with their friends in the front row of the bleachers back
At
here.
that point, I step back in between, it's a table, get their attention, okay.
So that's why we asked them. Ready? Great. Because again, I don't want to put these people in position until I know they're ready to go too. Once I put them in position, we're going to take off in the next second. So good. Timer ready? So check the timer. Thumbs out. Okay. Now, what do we do? Put on the line. Tell them, put on the line. Put on the line. Tell the kids. Tell them, put on the line. There
You're
you
gonna
go.
have to tell them, you're gonna be like,
Yeah, put on the line.
green,
So
look
you got
at
one
green.
foot back.
On the line.
Put on the line. Next step. Take a step back and shake hands. And then whistle, start signal, and step back again. Okay.
Out, step back, you gotta get
Yep.
out of the way.
So let's do the dance again here. So first, what are we looking at? Scoreboard. Okay. It's set. Okay. Wrestlers are coming out. Visual inspection, head to toes, they come out. Great. All right. They're standing alongside you now. Who are you checking with next? Table. We're ready. Back over here on the table. Great. All right. Now what? Put on the line. And 1 foot back. Next foot back. And what do we say? And what do we do? Foot back as we do that, right? Now we're out of their way. This is our full gate. And then what do we do? Blow whistle, step back again. That's the little dance step. That's what you saw every one of them do, right? See, you saw them when they came out, they had been trained, and the first thing they did was they were looking up there, right? So they know that. So now you know that technique. Okay. So when it comes to starting positions, top and bottom, second period, third period. So you saw we're just gonna flip a coin, second period, okay? And they're gonna make their choice. Like I said, we're not going to get over anxious to cautious people. We're going to just tell them the right thing. We're going to make them get in the right position. By rule, what they're required to do is they have to have their knees parallel and behind the line without touching it. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do this. These aren't parallel. Okay? So their hands have to be parallel, not touching the line in front of the line. And actually, their heels of their hands have to be in contact with the mat. They're not allowed to do this or something. They have to do this. They don't have to have their fingers on the mat, actually. You can do this if they want, but you have to have the heels of the hands on the mat. Okay? So, usually it just suffices to tell them, you can't touch the lines with your hands and knees in that position. Okay? So, make them get in the right position. So, if you see a kid do this, just tell them, hey, can't touch the lines with your hands, you put your knees behind that line. There you go. Okay. Now, once they're in position, then you just say, are you set? And if they say yes, then just tell them, don't move. Then you say, well, the top person come on. So, when the top person comes on, you make sure that they get in a proper position. Top position requires that they have a palm behind the elbow. The palm can be like this. So it can look like this. It can be that, it can be that, it can be that, it can be that. Just palm behind elbow. The fingers can be doing whatever the hell they want to do. Just as long as the palm is behind the elbow. You have to be touching the arm in some way. Like you can't have it suspended out here because then this guy doesn't know. We're actually about to wrestle. So, have to be touching. And the palm behind the elbow. Other palm on the belly button. Palm goes from here to there, so don't get too sort of, picky about, this versus this. Like my palm's on my belly button in both cases. It's not so much here, is it? That's the kind of case. This is kind of not in there at all. So just make sure they have palm on the belly. Okay, so palm on the belly. You have to have your knee down on the near side. Near side is the one where you put the palm on the elbow. Near side is this plane right here that's formed with the arm and the leg. So somewhere here on this side, they have to have a knee down on the mat. And then the other knee, they cannot be straddling the person. So if there's like a line here, then they can't have their foot forward of that line on the other side. So they can't be straddling like this.
They can't sit up.
They can't be touching them with their leg back here. Now, if you're not super like, on top of starting to perfect, I'm just telling you, teach them the right position, help them get in the right position, because they won't know. So just help them do this kind of stuff.
The head should not be way over here.
Yeah, it has to be over the back. So this is over the center of the back. This is any part of my head that's over the center of the back, whether it's this little piece of my head here or this piece. Like that, or like that. It's kind of the same thing I was showing you at home, but it goes from here to there. So same with my head. It's like this wide, right? So my head could be like this, here, as long as it's over the back. Okay? So help them get in the right position. And then when they're set, then you start, okay? So it's a basic thing. It's not the most important thing in the world, but I'd rather them learn the discipline now, okay? So those are starting positions. Now let's talk about mat mechanics, okay? Mat mechanics are the things that you will exercise when you're out there. You saw them trying to initiate. So a few things that you need to know. In general, you are to stay in front of the wrestlers. So Gary, get down in the starting position, defensive starting position. So if you take the spine of this person and draw a line, what I want you to do is I want you to be on 45 degrees to either side of that center line, okay? I call it a front quartering position, either from here or here or here. Because from here, we can see whether or not somebody is locking hands or who's grabbing my one finger and pulling it back. Okay? If I
Can you grab one finger?
they grab it, they can't pull it back.
Can't bend it beyond normal range. If you can grab a thumb, you can grab a finger, you can grab anything. You can't bend all four. That's illegal. But you can grab a single digit. You can't bend
So
it.
the thing is, from back here, I can't see that stuff, right? That's why we want to be out in front of them. Because then we can, because usually there's not much illegal that's going to happen back here, right? Unless we're wrestling, there's not a lot going on back here. So we want to be out in front of them, and I want you to be like 3 steps away from them. These are not world-class athletes, like college level or good high school wrestlers. So at the higher levels of wrestling, you'll see referees like out here. Like, these guys are okay, they'll take care of themselves. These are middle schoolers. So we're gonna be like 3 steps away from them, like 9 feet, right? About this long. Because we gotta be ready. We gotta be ready to stop something. And we can't do that very well from out here. Okay? Plus, we want them to hear us. So when we're saying things like, hey, bottom wrestler, come on, you gotta try something. You gotta try to score down there. Top wrestler, you can't just lay on that kid. Like, we're gonna be saying things to them we want them to hear. It's kind of hard when you're this far away from them, right? So watch about 3 steps away from them, which is about yay far, okay? Out in front of them. As they move, use your wrestling knowledge to anticipate. Now, they will fool you because in their inexperience, you're thinking to yourself, oh, that kid's going right, and they don't. They don't know that move. But trust your wrestling instincts and anticipate that, okay, they're going right on this, and you can start going right yourself ahead of them versus you're standing there and then they make that move and now you're behind them and you have a long way to go to catch up. If you're already anticipating that they're going to go that way, you're moving that way, you can stay in front of them. Okay? Now, if you find yourself in the wrong position because they do turn suddenly or whatever, that's okay, it happens. Just work to get in front of them. And when you see things like somebody putting a high half in and they're running the guy and they're just like spinning around,
Go the opposite.
just go the opposite direction. They're turning clockwise, go counterclockwise.
They'll come right to
Because
you.
you'll meet up every 180 degrees, okay? But if you try to go the same direction he's turning them, you might not catch up. So if instead I go the opposite direction, I'm gonna catch up to them, every half turn, right? So just some common sense, but train yourself to be like 3 feet in front of them, okay? And just work to stay in that position, okay? When they're neutral, come on over here. When they're neutral, same principle. We want to be like 3 feet away, 3 steps away. I mean, not 3 feet, 3 steps. The ideal is when they're neutral, you would like to be perpendicular to them, cutting through them, having this angle, not this angle. Because in this angle, what you can't necessarily see is I just poked him in the eye. Because you can't see through his head. Or, if I'm choking him here or not? Can't tell. Now, if we turn this way, now you can see underneath it, right? You can kind of squat down and look in there. Or, again, if somebody like that, you can see that poke in the eye. So, when they're neutral on their feet like that, we want to try to be intersecting this line. So as they move around,
Watch for this.
As they move around, then you'll just sort of, depending on how fast they're moving, you may let them, again, just sort of work it out like, okay, now you're in the right place again. So don't overwork it, right? But if they're moving kind of slowly, like this, that's when you'll want to keep sort of tracking along to try to ideally stay on this angle here, not this angle, this way, okay? All right, so that's your positioning. Out of bounds, the out of bounds rule, it's not complicated, but they've complicated it somewhat. There is no out of bounds rule actually anymore, there's an inbounds rule. So either you're inbounds or you're not. So you're inbounds if there are 2 supporting points on or inside the line. And it counts that you're quote on the line if any bit of the body part is touching the line. So here, is my foot in? Okay. Is my foot in here? How about here? How about here? Yeah, it is. Even though there's just a tiny little sliver of white paint under that foot, it's touching the line still. So even though it's like 99% of the foot is really out, the foot is still considered in. So the inbounds rule is pretty straightforward. If there are 2 supporting points, either 2 from me or 1 of each of us, so if each of us right now has 1 supporting point in, that's 1, 2. Or if it's 1, 2, like now action continues. Okay? That's the inbounds rule. I'm going to simplify the whole concept of supporting points for you this way. Supporting points, just consider body parts. So we're not going to get overly sophisticated. There's a whole bunch of sophistication I can teach you about supporting points that isn't really always followed by people. Just look for 2 body parts. So if you see something like this, like, you know what? 1, 2, let them keep wrestling. Unless you think there's something dangerous going on. So don't get overly complicated. But the moment you see like, okay, well, now there's just 1 body part, right? And you don't see any from the other person, like, that's when we're gonna blow the out of bounds, okay? So that's how you're gonna gauge inbounds. Just look for 2 body parts. That way if somebody's asking, how come you let them keep well, because they had two supporting points in, the head and the elbow or whatever. Like, if you saw 2 separate parts, then they'll accept that, okay?
Supporting points. You're going back to what the blue book says.
Yeah.
2 supporting points in bounds, coach.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
And I'm telling you that you can in your mind, you can define a supporting point as a body part. So don't use the word body parts with the coach. You just say, yeah, there are 2 supporting points in. Really? What? The elbow and the head. Like, and they may disagree with you, but at least you're following the rule. So that's the inbounds rule. So we're gonna stay like 3 steps from them. We're gonna stay in front, and we're gonna gauge when they get near the boundary line. We're gonna be looking for 2 body parts still on or inside of the line. And as long as we have 2 body parts, 1 of each person or 2 from 1 person, we're gonna allow wrestling to continue. The moment we count only 1 or 0, that's when we are blowing it dead.
Notice how we straddle the line. The 2 most controversial calls that I've made are solid and out of bounds. And how do I call out of bounds from here?
Might not be able to see.
I can't see.
I can't see if the wrestlers are down here, and then you can't see this guy's.
You want to be,
body.
and if you want the coaches in your corner, when they're getting close, straddle the line and be looking down the line. Because now when I go out of bounds,
No real wrestler.
the coach sitting there and there,
You have the perfect angle.
but literally straddling and just be looking right down the line. That tells that coach that I'm in a lot better position than you are. Now, if the coach is in this corner, he has probably just as good of angle, but he's probably not going to complain because he sees what I see. And it's as simple as going from here. And I do it as soon as they get close. And the whole time I'm saying, stay in, work in. You have to stay on the mat.
Blow that whistle. When you get it out on down here, like that, all of a sudden a knee, and an elbow on you. You saw your colleagues, that was a common mistake. They're not blowing the whistle to stop action. Like, that's why you gotta have that whistle near your mouth or in your mouth, right? Just blow the whistle. Blow it sharp so people hear it. Because if they don't hear it, they might keep wrestling. If they keep wrestling, something bad could happen. One person might think they heard it and stop, the other person doesn't, and then now you got somebody maybe gets injured because one's not doing anything, the other's still driving on them or something, and next thing you know, somebody's getting hurt because they're not defending themselves. So, so that's the thing. Keep that whistle close so you can blow it, okay? 3 steps away, inbounds rule. The last mechanic we're going to cover is ear ball. So, there are 4.
What's helped me in the last couple years is when I'm like, green has control, out of bounds, and I still point green has control so that I know that red, you are down, green, you are up as I come back to the mat. That way as soon as they're out, I'm red is down, green is up top, come back here. And now coach has a choice, so no, my guy was been telling you the whole time, green, you're down. Red, you're down. Green, let's go. It helps me remember who's where. And if they're both up, it's like, out of bounds, both up. Come on, we're neutral to the center. Let's go. It helps me remember where we're supposed to be on the mat.
Other thing that we talk about with the guys when they're rehearsing, keep the wrestlers on your side at all times. You have to train yourself to do this. Sometimes you'll train yourself to do unnatural things. So these 2 guys are wrestling out of bounds. We don't go, okay, let's go back to the center. What did I just do wrong here? I'm not looking at them. So instead, let's go back to the center. See what I'm doing here? I'm circling around behind them like a sheepdog. Like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna herd them back so I've got my eyes on them at all times. Or if I walk with them, I'm gonna walk like this. Let's go back to the center. So, or you'll see, like when I officiate, the table needs to talk to me, or I need to talk to them. It's sort of like, okay, stay in the center, and I'm walking backwards actually. So I'm watching them while I'm over here going, okay, what is it? So keep your eyes on them at all times. You gotta train yourself to do that. If you catch yourself that you didn't do it, just learn from that and go, don't let that happen. Don't get lazy, okay? All right, last mat mechanic then we'll talk about is ear ball. There are 4 ear ball criteria. Who knows, does anybody know what they are? 4 different ways you can be earning ear ball.
Is it 45 degrees?
Yes, so one shoulder touching the mat and the other within 45 degrees.
4 inches.
Both shoulders within 4 inches. This is actually, I measured this. This is 4 inches. I did that one time. I learned that about 20 years ago down at Liberty High School. I had like a 189 pounder Liberty they're in a weird position. He's the offensive wrestler, the Liberty guy. He's got his opponent laying on his thigh like this. And I'm looking at it and I go, are his shoulders like over than 4 inches? Like, how big is his thigh? I was wondering, like, because the guy's shoulders are like right here. And his head's here, right? So they're like, huh. And I'm wondering, so like I like slid my hand nearby to go, oh yeah, that kid's thigh is bigger than 4 inches. So I knew, oh, he's not in near fall criteria. So both shoulders within 4 inches is a criteria. You see that sometimes when like somebody bear hugs somebody down. So they got in the small back, right? And they're like this. Now both my shoulders are probably within 4 inches right here, aren't they?
Not these ones, but where are your shoulders?
Yeah.
It is all of this, all the way down to the scapula.
Yeah.
You could be pinned with just these two pins on the shoulder, on the mat. This is all shoulder.
So that's all counts as shoulder, okay? So both shoulders within 4 inches is the second criteria. You know, a third? Anybody? Both elbows. So you'll see this sometimes in a takedown situation. If someone's right in between the legs, right? They're walking around the waist, and they're pressuring on the person, and they're like this. So even though the shoulders aren't within 4 inches here, the fact that they're on both elbows fulfills one of the near fall criteria. So you see this, you start counting near falls. Okay? And then the fourth is holding the opponent in a high bridge. So you see that a lot, like in either cradles or cheek tilts, where you got the person's hips elevated. Again, my shoulders aren't within 4 inches of the mat, but if you're holding me in this high bridge, you're earning near fall count now. If I get back to my side or something, now I'm not in near fall criteria because this closer to 90 degrees or closer to 45 degrees? Closer to 90, so just keep in mind, this is 90, 45 somewhere around here, this ain't 45. If you get excited because, oh, what a great head and arm, we're like careful not to get caught up in the, oh boy, look at that, and start counting your ball. Like, be patient, wait for it to get to 45.
Similar to the out of bounds, if I'm at this angle and I start counting, one coach is going to be real happy, one coach is going to think I'm doing a horrible job. I move into where I can actually see that 45, and I start counting. Even if it's the coach with the kid getting pinned, he's like, well, you're in the position to make the call. That helps us avoid competition with coaches.
So those are your 4 near fall criteria. So last mechanic here is in the near fall situation, that one over here. The key thing is, like Gary said, you need to be in position to see with your own eyes, just both shoulders, so we can gauge, are they both within 4 inches, or one touch dependent, or whatever, is he in a high bridge? We gotta be able to see that, okay? So again, we gotta be in the angle where we can see those shoulders, okay? And then what is a ball? Let's cover that before we get into the mechanic here. What does it take to earn a pin? Both shoulders, contact with mat for 2 continuous seconds. And believe me, a lot of people are too impatient to wait 2 seconds. They think it's a pin the moment that, oh, it's in!
Freestyle, yeah.
Here's how long 2 seconds is, and I know this because I can talk about it now every year. 1001, 1002, that's 2 seconds. We're pretty damn close. This is not 2 seconds. Where you see that wasn't even the quarter of a second. And it's not this. Down one, that is even a second. So 2 seconds is a lot longer than people think. So both shoulders in contact for 2 continuous seconds. Now you understand. So when
we have to see.
Yes. We emphasized that earlier, right? You gotta see with your eyes. So when the wrestler's on their back now, you want to be primarily in this area looking, but sometimes, again, if we have this kind of stuff going on where, okay, my arm is kind of blocking the view of the shoulders, isn't it? So we can't see, we got to come around to another angle and look over there perhaps, right? So it's a calculated risk when you move, because you're gonna spend some time to move to go look at that other place, and it might not be any better. And now you've wasted a couple of seconds going over there, and somebody might have been pinned, and now they aren't. By the time you get back and find the seat. So, but you have to see it and be in position. When you're counting your ball now, ideally what you want to be doing is you want to be verbal and visual. You're not required to be either actually by rule, but it's sort of the standard expectation that you would say, as you count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. The reason we can do that is so that the wrestler can hear it. Like you would appreciate hearing that, oh, I've got my 5 count. Now I can just go for the pin. Or maybe I'll let him do a stomach again, and I'll go for another air ball. I've already earned my 3 points. But if they hear it, because they're not looking at you. Now the crowd is seeing this, the coaches. So, but sometimes we're counting loudness so the coaches here as well, because I don't want them to be confused when I'm going, this kind of thing's happening first. There, oh, and up, and back in. So when I'm going, 1001, 1001, 1001, 1002, 1003, and 2 near ball. And they're going, well, I saw you 5. No. I had a 1 count 3 times before he finally held them there for the 3 contiguous seconds, right? Like that's loud with my count. We're going, down 1, down 1, down 1. Everybody knows, don't have anything yet. 1002, now you've got something. So, what does it take to earn 2 points for near ball? 3 seconds. 2 seconds, 2 count. What does it take to earn a 3-point near ball? 5 seconds, 5 count. So, that's why. And it has to be 5 continuous, 2 continuous. They're not cumulative. You don't go 1001, 1002. Whoop, you got a criteria. Back in 1003, 1000. No, it doesn't work that way. We start over again. 1001, 1002, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1001. So we might be waving our arm a lot, but once we get to the 5 count, then we no longer wave the arm. Okay? So give the audio and the visual, that helps everybody sort of track along. Okay. And once they have earned a certain number of your ball, it's a good habit you can develop. Like if, let's say green is red's the one on top getting the near ball, and I'm counting 1001, 1002. See what I just did there? With my red band, I'm holding 2 over here. It's a reminder to me and a visual signal to coaches and like, oh, he's got 2 so far.
You haven't awarded it yet,
Yeah.
but you're letting those who pay attention.
Down 3, down 4, down 5. Now they can see, and I'm reminding this. If this situation goes on for a minute, like I just know that when this ends, I'm gonna give 3 to red. Okay. The situation is over once the wrestler can defend themselves.
Which means I've had cradles where they've been on their back for a minute and a half, and they did great. So if you don't break the hold, or you don't put them back on their stomach and let go of it, it's still the same move.
They have to have a chance to defend themselves and do something else. So we can't have a situation where I've got a really or double bar. Say, we'll go single bar. Right? I got a real deep bar, right? And I turn this person, I got my 3 near ball, right? And then I bring him back to something, but I got this thing so deep. Like, can he defend himself here yet? It's not going to take much for me to put back near ball right here, right? So if I get him to his stomach here, even though he's to his stomach, if I have this deep bar arm, this move isn't over yet. Now, if I bring this bar arm down, like, what about now? You think he can defend himself? He should.
He'd like it further away,
But he should be able to, right? Like, it's not like I can just tip it back over. Because look at where my hand is now. I have to really cinch that thing up. So, wait until, use your judgment. You think, that wrestler's can defend themselves now. It would take a whole different move, or a whole different iteration of the move to get them over again. That's when it's over. That's when you move.
And I told kids, same move. Same move.
Yeah.
When they get backward, still the bar, they still got the wrist. And I'm like, same move. And then go of the wrist, and the bar becomes loose. And then I will, that is 3 from red or green. And then they just fired up and made a run. But it's like, well, he had a chance
Yep.
to defend himself.
So let's finish up now with each of you will do the same thing that they did. Okay? Let's give you a chance to simulate being in a position and make the call. So Chase, you're up first. All right, so you're starting a match. Where are you gonna put yourself? Right, plumb in the center. Look at the scoreboard. Okay, it's set. Check the table. What are you doing as we come out? So visual inspection.
This time, then I'll put my shoes up next time.
No. Table ready, good. Dance step now. On the line, okay. Another dance step, back. With this, with your arms extended, right? Keep the
Between us.
keep the toe again, there you go. That's it, right there, okay. So. That's it, you wanna be sort of at the bisecting angle.
2. Kick down.
Give that 2.
It's questionable.
So the thing where, have you seen the, well, did you see the lesson on control? Okay, so, in that position, this position here, do you think he's secured an advantage yet? Okay, so be patient with it.
I got more of an advantage than he does, but I don't have.
He hasn't really secured it, so be patient, let it work its way out. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, right.
There we go. Stay in front, stay about 3 steps away. You can really see that now.
3, 4, 3, you're all right.
Good.
1 escape green. Center.
Good. Good
That's
catch there.
Perfect. It's 5 foot slid. And it's out of bounds.
All right, start the same
But
period.
as you come in, still neutral, still
Yeah.
neutral.
That way everybody else. So
Then
start the
remember when we
second
get
period.
here.
Let's go to second period now. Start the second period.
That's all right.
Oh, okay. So we flipped it, make a green, of course.
Yes.
I'll defer.
Red takes down. Movement set. Top and covered. Ready? Close.
Am I in a legal position, folks?
You have time to
Have the knee down, and touching back here, and palm of the belly, right? All right. That's it, good. Good catch. Let it play itself out. There you go.
1 escape red.
Okay, you got the escape.
And
And it's a 1 point consecutive violation.
Yep.
Locking hands, okay. Working. All right, good call there.
stay neutral.
There you go.
Two, take down green. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Almost. There you go. Good
I
job.
blew the whistle before I called it.
Yeah, you don't need to time the slap with the whistle actually. It's actually a healthier mechanic to just see the pin, 1001,
The whistle stops. Because then if I come off my back after the whistle before you hit the mat, it's like, well, the mat, the whistle, stop.
stops action, it's over.
It's done.
If they're announcing, you know why I stopped it? You just stopped. All right. Is that ceremony here? Yes.
And just own your calls.
Maybe I'll take a selfie. Chase's first batch. I was aware.
Just own your calls. And all of them, just sell the call.
Feedback for Chase. Watch this song.
Just sell the call.
Be more confident, just like you are.
And be louder, be more confident.
Your calls are all spot on.
Your confidence will keep the coaches quiet. It's that simple. It's
And
just
satisfy the fans and stands.
that because they're like, well, he knows what he's doing. Just blow the whistle hard, sell the call. And try to just, coaches are gonna jerk, I just usually walk away and I don't hear probably 80% of what the coach says. I choose not to hear. Now, if they get disrespectful, I hear it. But if they're just, oh, come on, they were out of bounds, it's not a takedown, I'm just like,
Whatever.
red, you're down, green, set.
Overall, pretty good job.
You can do that in your first net. What I tell everybody in this training, right, is by the time you finish your second event, you'll be hitting your stride. Your first event, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna miss some stuff, mess up probably. At the end of it, you're gonna be thinking about, hey, I can do this better now, I feel better about this. And by the end of that second one, you're gonna go, I can do this. I've trained almost 300 people how to do this. So, trust me.
I was one of them.
They all give the testimonial. Alright, Ash, how about you? Come on out. Show us how it's done. Okay, that's all set. Check here.
I'm coming. If I was doing this on the mat, what should you do?
Tell you to get off the mat.
It's actually a technical violation. Because I came to the
Yeah,
table,
again, check in.
and I'm not ready to wrestle.
But yeah, otherwise you just tell, hey, go take care of that first check.
Wrestlers at your start,
Okay. Foot on
foot
the line.
on the line,
There you go. Yeah,
foot
so,
behind the line.
on the line.
On, it can be,
Yeah.
technically we can be like this, because it's on the line. This foot can't be.
In the neutral starting position, the foot has to be touching the line. Okay. So when you say on the line, you're gonna take your first little dance step back, right? So there you go. Foot on the line, and then you're gonna say what? The next dance step.
Wrestlers shake hands.
So dance step back and shake hands is what you're gonna do.
And
So
keep these
you're gonna
here.
take that leg and move it back.
Shake hands.
There you go.
And if we do this, what do you do?
Just
No, we
Tell-
cannot start
Tell
with
us to
this.
let go of the handshake if that
let
happens.
go.
Okay. Now, you're back, you gotta be ready to whistle now, right? So
I would have my feet that
So let's
close.
start over again with this part of the sequence, right? So
Foot on the line.
one step back when you say that, right? There we go.
Wrestlers shake hands.
Step back again. There you go, barrier. That's it. There you go.
Take down green.
No, that's not big guy. Don't be anxious now. Don't be too quick. Big warning. That's a takedown there, right? Everybody agree with that?
Take down green.
There you go.
Be nice green.
Nice.
Oh, I thought I was kicking.
What are you looking for here? Don't lose
1,
track of this.
2, 3, 4. Okay.
Make sure
Good
it's,
vocalization.
yeah. Now
Good body.
make sure it's 2 seconds though, because you kind of hit me in 1 second there. You
And
counted.
near fall was good.
2.
Yeah, you got 3, and then when you said 3, I went down. You said 4, and you blew the whistle, slap it back.
It was a quick pin. It was a good count.
Yeah.
But it was a quick pin.
Okay, so now
Start the second period this year. Okay. Flipped it red.
Red the first, green's choice.
I'll take bottom.
Okay. Green chooses bottom.
Do it this way too. Because now the table C is green down.
Green set, red top. Red chooses
Alternate.
alternate.
Okay.
One, two, three.
Okay, better. That time, I was stuck to the whole 3 seconds that time. But it's better than the too fast.
Or
That-
you or
That's good. So,
Right.
that's the right thing to do.
If you'd have been on this side,
Might have seen it quicker.
you'd see it quicker, but
That's okay.
it's,
You did the right thing there. You were making sure you saw it with your own eyes, and you were deliberate in your count. You were like, 1, 2, 3.
down on the mat, you were, you know what, probably as many pins as I call are over 2 seconds by a short bit, because, you know, it happens like that,
See
you're
it.
like, whoa, 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 and by the time you get there, it's already a second is gone. And other times, it's like, so you're on your 15 count, you were counting, and then it's down for 1 3/4, and you're like, yeah, that's 2, and sometimes you gotta move fast.
Alright, so end of match ceremony.
wrestlers shake hands.
There you go. So what do you think?
In my own self, I think that I should be following better,
Okay.
not using my calls.
And you overlap some. Yeah, good. The rest,
Alright.
just for this,
Yes.
Making sure the time is right for hands.
Okay. Feedback from the gallery here?
I personally think that the best vocalization of the night, not with this group, with the whole group on just, you can hear you.
Yeah.
And that is so important. You need to speak up. You've got to be able to hear you.
So I'll do the same thing. I'll post this video so you can watch yourself. It'll get the end of the video, so all that other stuff we covered, like you just sort of see the end of that. Alright, here's your up. And your first assignment will have somebody there, I call them a mentor. Be one of our experienced officials there to sort of help you out. I'll probably assign you to Gina's team first, so. But we'll have a mentor there as well, somebody that can sort of
And
observe.
because I do work in North Seattle, if it's up in this general area and it's at that time, I could probably,
Yeah, they're over in Linwood, so they'll be able to.
which
and
is
then-
just a couple minutes
Okay.
on the freeway. That's, if you could be comfortable being there, just,
Give you feedback, observations, help you
I
out.
would appreciate it.
Okay.
Again, and it goes for all of them, because I work in North Seattle, and if
We'll
it's
have-
up north, I can kind of swing
We'll
around.
get somebody out there for your first assignment, so you get some feedback.
Do you know if there's any like openings for this Thursday, for like new Leota and like tip in this area?
North Shore School District is wrestling this week, the next week they've got stuff, so, yeah. And they do double duels, so you get twice the pay for what you get at normal duels.
It's just because like my coach is at Leota and then I have another coach over at Tip Press.
Okay. Not a problem, you'll get assignments, you'll see them out there. Okay, so Pierce, looking at that scoreboard, great. Make sure you take your little step back, right? In this order, so first order, you're standing here, we've come out now. Before you tell us to take the line, who are you gonna signal to first? Yeah, so make sure the timer ready. Ready? They said yes, okay, now. Now shake hands, put on the line first, before you put, yeah. Next step. Next step, as you say, do that.
Keep.
Yep.
So what you're trying to do is we're trying to get your body as
Out of
far
the way.
away as possible and still provide the barrier.
All we need for
That's all
barrier is
we're
this.
just- it's like-
not our body.
And when you go, if you stay with this and you get into bigger weights, 220s and stuff, you want to get out of it, but it's
The 220.
They have like anyway.
they've got some bigger kids, but they're not as athletic
they're not
as a high school
25s.
220.
Alright, so shake hands. Step back to that too. There you go. So,
I heard you about,
where could you have been positioned a little bit differently then? Yeah, straddling the line. Good.
And you don't have to do that, you could go to this side. It's just,
Yeah.
and
That's good.
where we at? Here's your-
Blew the whistle. Stop it. You caught it. That's good. With patience. Nobody's got an advantage yet. Looks like I might almost have one. He's got my arms. He was managed to stay out of my advantage. That's good patience there. The guy earn it.
Take down green. Time?
All right. So,
End of the first round? Right, take down the closer.
so if it happens that way, again, if it's a mistake, you go, I'm sorry, accidental whistle. But you gave me 2 points. Yeah, that's the thing that matters most. Okay? All right.
And in middle school, sometimes you may be able to just keep wrestling. And they may.
Yeah,
Otherwise-
if you feel like nobody's disadvantaged.
Right, if both of them completely stop and they're like, you could go, no, wrestle. But if one is gaining the advantage, it's like, nope. We gotta go back to green, red, whatever.
All right, so you're in.
I don't know. I'd call it then.
Yeah.
Defer.
All big problem.
Do I say this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Red choice.
All big problem.
Red choose one.
Very good.
It's your red now, I'm green.
Great set.
Yes.
Tell reflex set.
Kind of close there, so again, make sure you're about 3 steps away so you can see things, not be in the way.
Louder.
3, 4, 5.
Beautiful green. One, two, three, 4, 5.
Buzzer.
Medium for green, medium for red. Reversal.
So, this is gonna happen, right? Like, you're gonna see this. So this is the hardest stuff sometimes to keep up with, right? Because what you want to be doing is while that's happening, try to keep up with, oh, there's reversal green and green here ball, and oh, there's spring here ball green and 2 reversal red, 1002, 1003. Like, that's the hard part, is when you get into those sort of flopping around things.
This would be a good time to go wrestlers, stay in 10-foot center, and just back off, talk to the table, and go. We had takedown, near fall, reversal, near fall, reversal, near fall, correct?
Yeah.
So the score should be, and about then, one of the coaches is going to come over, just going to want to take advantage of the confusion. And with me and Bob may disagree, but when I have one coach come over for that, I usually look at the other coach and go, Rick, let's just talk this through as a team.
Do your best, get everything, make sure they dog it all. And if you forget, was it 2 points or 3 points for green before you got reversed, it may happen, but just do your best. Because when they get in those, 50 points scored in 45 seconds, like you just lose track of, okay, there was like 3 reversals in your whole situations. It's like, these kids can't control themselves.
And the only official score keeper is the table. So if the coach comes up and goes, well, we have this, you just go, thanks, coach. This is the official score. Occasionally, I've allowed both coaches, it's like, okay, first round we had this, this, this. We all agree. Second round we had this, this, this. No, there was never a 3 near fall. There was always 2 near fall. I can't use that, coach. I just talk to them, and they're usually pretty good.
Do your best. Everybody's trying to work together to help out, make sure the right thing happens. So, situations like that, you're going to see them. That's really challenging. And so when they flop around, kids get binned, and the next thing you know, he's reversed. Now he's getting binned, and then it happens again, and it's sort of like, oh crap! Like, oh.
Somebody go 90.
Did I signal all that stuff? Did they get it all? Even if I did signal it, like it's not that hard. Okay.
It's alright if I do it after.
Again, the main thing is make sure they catch it all. So, like I said, if you can't get the signals out while it's all happening, the most important thing that you were focused on, which is good, is you're looking for the ball. So if the ball happens, it relieves you of all the other stuff. You don't have to remember all that other stuff. You just go, well, then he wins. But if you're not able to signal, then when the situation ends or period ends, then you're going to make sure you go through it all. So red started on top, it was green near fall red, and then it was 2 reversal green, 2 near fall green, 2 reversal red, and then 3 near fall red.
And what does that make it score?
Yeah.
Does it have to be in the right order?
Do it in the right order for yourself, right? Because if you have to recount the situation like that, do it in the order it happened versus going, well, it was 2 near fall red, and then green had a 3 near fall. Oh, that's right, there was a reversal too. And it's like, again, if you just try to reconstruct it, you'll probably get it right. Okay. So, end of match ceremony.
Oh, yeah, is there?
No.
Now, that was it.
It's a match. We're old. I don't know who, it's a tie. Overtime!
You watch them, keep your eyes on them as they go and shake hands with somebody and go back to the bench. All right, so feedback, Pierce. You're tweeting while you're talking sometimes, so you gotta be careful about that. So
And you can use tip your tongue after the whistle.
yeah, that is why I'm taking it out of your mouth with the other hand while you're trying to say something. Other feedback, Mark, please. Any more problem? Okay, yeah.
I thought you could
Good what?
Position.
I thought he was in great position when I could see it. Ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to hear you. We have a window over here, with volume. And that's perfect. It sounds like you're yelling, but you're not.
Yeah. Just
You're not.
right, when you're ready? Feel ready? You got to see everybody else. You're on.
Just blow it once, just for the sake of blowing it. Oh,
Hard.
blow it. Harder. Harder.
Wow.
There, it's getting better.
Okay. So she's checking the scoreboard. Great. Everything looks good up there. All right. What are you looking at as we're coming out? Make sure we're not wearing a wristwatch or don't have our headgear on or something like that, right? All right, so
Talk to us.
first, first before you put us on the line, you were right. Check with scorekeeper first, or the timekeeper, right? All right, you're ready. Good. There you go. Your first step. Second step.
As you
And
skip,
keep.
you're too far back. Just like right about
There you go. Back up. There you go.
Stay in a circle.
Good. Good guidance there. Good catch.
And I heard volume.
And she signaled they're neutral still, so
Good job.
that's good.
My phone resting now. Oh, the ankle.
Two takedowns, red.
Bit quick.
A little quick, but you were correct. So, again, wait that extra half second or second. I mean, if they've got it, make sure they really got it. I don't know why this food keeps working.
No, he usually never did. It's when you get old.
Okay, I see you visually signaling. We don't really hear you, but at least you're counting visually.
Three near fall, red.
Yeah, good. Only in there.
3, 4, 5.
And buzzer. Blow the whistle.
Reversal green, green near fall, green.
Okay. When you hear the buzzer, go ahead and whistle too. So, back up the buzzer when you hear. There you go. All right. And you got all the points there. So she made sure that after the near fall, the buzzer, she remembered the reversal and then the near fall. Good. Second period flip, it comes up green. I'll defer.
Green to first, red twice.
So tell the table red, choose the ball.
Red chooses bottom. Bottom are you set? Top cover. One point steer red, locking hands. Technical violation green, 1 point red.
Good job. Got them both.
Take down red.
Good patience there.
One, two.
It was. That's okay. If someone's wearing a t-shirt like this is loose, guess what? That looks like their shoulder.
If that
That's the right
t-shirt's
ball.
on the mat,
You don't know.
1, 2,
That's why they're supposed to wear tight t-shirts. All right? Thank you, Matt Ceremony.
they're gonna take you.
Shake hands.
All right. Feedback for Gwen.
I like how you kept all your visuals, or like remember to do all your visuals, and then there was just one time where you took your back. But like besides that, I like how you.
That's not bad. Sometimes in the back, it's not naturally accurate. Guys, any feedback? Self-evaluation, what do you think? I felt like you did a good job.
I
You
was
just kind of quiet over there.
surprised how vocal you
Yes, you were
were.
very vocal, and you had all the right calls.
And that's awesome. That was.
So let's give a wrap on this session. Again, goal is to make it sufficient, protect the wrestlers out there, bias for safety, practice your signals in front of the mirror at home. So get used to that. Red and green or whatever, make sure you get used to that so that you know it starts to become a second nature, but you're rehearsing getting those signals up clearly for people and practicing on your whistle too. So for those of you that are a little soft on the whistle, go ahead and, hit that whistle. It just has to be a sharp, like burst, like that. It doesn't have to be just from the stomach. So just blowing it from the stomach, that'll be a nice sharp whistle.
Other than that, I've got to send you gals, you got the homework, you guys did the homework already. I need you to send me your information so I can get you into Arbor. So I'll send out the homework stuff for both of you. I have a replay of the last night's session that you got the invitation to too late. Same for you guys. So, are you at the session last night? Were you on there too? Okay. So I'll send that out to you as well. So it's 1 hour. It's just the overview. It tells you about the Arbor system and assignments. Most important thing here is you're going to get paid. I want you to get paid. I want you to make money. So you have to get into Arbor. You have to get ready to wrestle. Arbor's where you'll get your assignments. Arbor's how you'll get your money. One thing to be aware of, and you'll hear this in the session from last night, is inside of the Arbor system, you're the technology generation. You don't need instruction manuals. Arbor is very self-explanatory. You'll get in there, you'll figure out pretty easily how to work it. But one thing is, in order to get paid, what happens, in Arbor you have a profile. And so in your profile, in your account, you'll set up what's called an Arbor pay account. So when you work an assignment, the money will get transferred into your Arbor pay account. So the schools are paying money into the system, and then when someone works, they break money off to whoever worked their assignment. Okay? Goes into your Arbor pay account. There's a second account that you have to set up, which is whatever your financial institution, your bank account is. So inside of the Arbor system, they're going to put money that you earn.
It stays.
To get the money out, you tell the Arbor in your profile, here's my bank account information, so that now you can move the money from outside of Arbor into your checking account or savings account. Okay?
All summer not. You can take all of it every time, or you can wait till the end of the season.
You get paid, you'll get the money you put in your Arbor pay account in September 21st. So
Except there was just,
there's no limit to how many times you can work a week. Unfortunately, the only limit is that the season's shortening for like North Shore, for instance. Lake Washington School District is starting, not tomorrow, Thursday. The Snow King, Edmonds, and Snohomish, they start up next week, so I'll be able to get you on board with that. So there's assignments the next few weeks, so that's the only limitation, is the shortness. What's that? This week? Not this week, because the only action we have up here is the 4 Lake Washington schools are wrestling on Thursday, and those are already assigned out. But I haven't signed anything for next week beyond, so I'll get you loaded up. And it's going to be like we're both together, right? Next week, so that'll be good. Because the thing is, besides your fee, you get paid $18 a flat fee for travel. So like if I assign both of you to cover a double dual, and the double duals, what happens is, and College Place over in your area is going to do the same thing, but we're going to have 2 mats. It's like a JV mat and a varsity mat. So the varsity in the North Shore School District, school A is hosting and B and C come. So A versus B and then A versus C. Meanwhile, the JV mat, they'll do something similar, but they might just have a jumble of JVs going over here. So you got 2 mats going. So you get 2 dual meet fees. Dual meet is $51.50, so you'll earn $103 for every one of your assignments. But you get an $18 travel fee. So the thing is, both of you, if I assign you to some, you live like 2 blocks from the yoga, and I assign you get $18. If I assign you to something we're going to drive for 20 miles, you can get $18. It's the same thing, but and like 2 you're going together, you both get $18. So it's good money that way. So anyway, I'll send you the link so you can see the last night's session, the details on that, and then I'll also collect your information so I can get you guys into Arbor, and we'll go from there. Okay. Like I said, your first assignment, we'll make sure that some of the experience is there to start lending it. Okay. I could put you together at like College Place, the only place that we work together. Unless you're willing to travel over here to North Shore Schools. So like
time you guys get out of school? 150? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty early. You get anything. Okay. Yeah.
Do you all have a bank account? If you don't, you're gonna have to have like the parents, let's put parents in there. And it's pretty easy to set up. I am not a computer literate, and Operator was one of the easiest things I've ever set up.
I'll do what I can to assign it to you together as well. Okay. All right, gang. Good job. Let's get out there for real. You'll do a good job. You'll relax. Main thing is have fun with it. These middle school kids, it's fun.
And you are a game right.
Yeah.
You did awesome.
You did. You were kind of sandbagging us. I thought you were going to be a little hesitant, slow, silent.
Until what you actually did, and I was like,